Good morning/afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining me today. We're going to explore some important behavioral intervention strategies, focusing on extinction, reinforcement, and compliance. This presentation will provide a comprehensive look at how these approaches can effectively reduce undesired behaviors while encouraging positive alternatives. I'm excited to dive into these techniques with you and discuss how they can be applied in real-world settings. Let's get started. Functional extinction is all about identifying the exact reason or function behind a behavior, and then withholding the specific reinforcer that maintains it. For example, if a child is acting out to gain attention, functional extinction would involve ignoring those attention-seeking behaviors, effectively removing the attention that reinforces them. On the other hand, procedural extinction takes a broader approach. It involves withholding reinforcement in general, regardless of why the behavior is occurring. This method is often used when the function of the behavior is unknown. While it can stop reinforcement, procedural extinction might be less precise and potentially less effective because it doesn't target the specific factors sustaining the behavior. The key difference here is that functional extinction is targeted and informed by the behavior's function, whereas procedural extinction is a more general, one-size-fits-all strategy. When implementing extinction, the first step is to clearly identify the specific reinforcer that is maintaining the behavior. Once identified, it's crucial to consistently withhold that reinforcer every time the behavior occurs to ensure success. Next, combining extinction with differential reinforcement can be very effective. This means reinforcing alternative, appropriate behaviors while extinguishing the undesired ones to strengthen positive replacements. It's also important to be prepared for extinction bursts, those temporary increases in behavior, and other possible side effects. Monitoring data closely during this phase helps us respond appropriately. Reinforcing acceptable alternative behaviors supports the individual in adopting new, functional ways to meet their needs. Finally, consistency is key. We must avoid intermittent reinforcement, since that can maintain or even strengthen the undesired behavior. Thorough training of everyone involved is essential to apply extinction uniformly across all settings. This consistency makes the intervention much more effective overall. Differential reinforcement is a behavior management strategy where we reinforce desirable, alternative behaviors while deliberately withholding reinforcement for undesirable ones. A critical first step is to clearly define the target behaviors. We need precise descriptions so everyone understands exactly what behaviors we want to encourage and which ones to reduce. Next, we focus on reinforcing specific alternative behaviors that serve as better options to the unwanted behaviors. At the same time, we work to extinguish or reduce the undesired behaviors by not providing reinforcement when they occur. Consistency is key in this process, which means using clear, operational definitions and applying procedure reliably, while continuously monitoring progress. Finally, there are several common types of differential reinforcement, including differential reinforcement of alternative behavior, incompatible behavior, other behavior, and low-rate behavior, each tailored to address behaviors in different ways. Understanding these components helps us use differential reinforcement effectively in practice. Differential reinforcement of low-rate behavior, or DRL, is used when we want to decrease how often a behavior happens, but not get rid of it completely. This is really helpful for behaviors that are acceptable but just happen too much. There are three main types of DRL. First, full session DRL, where reinforcement is given only if the total number of responses in the whole session stays below a set limit. For example, fewer than 3 tantrums during that time. Next is interval DRL, which provides reinforcement if the behavior happens no more than once within certain time intervals. Finally, spaced responding DRL gives reinforcement only when a minimum amount of time has passed between responses. This method helps encourage moderation in behavior instead of trying to stop it entirely. Overall, DRL is about promoting balance rather than elimination. Here, we're looking at the high probability instructional sequence. The core idea is to start with simple, easy requests that the learner is very likely to follow. This helps build momentum before moving on to more challenging instructions. For example, you might ask the learner to touch their nose or clap their hands first, which are straightforward actions. Then, you can gradually move to more demanding tasks, like cleaning up toys or completing homework. It's important to choose requests that the learner has already mastered, so they feel confident and successful. Always give clear, quick instructions and immediately reinforce their compliance with positive feedback. By doing this, you reduce frustration and maintain motivation. Consistency is key here. Using this sequence regularly helps improve overall compliance over time. When it comes to decreasing challenging behaviors, there are a few default interventions that can be very effective. First, antecedent exercise involves incorporating physical activities before the individual faces situations that might trigger problem behaviors. For example, allowing time for play before task demands can help reduce frustration and increase cooperation. Next, creating enriched environments means offering stimulating settings filled with preferred activities. This not only keeps the individual engaged, but also lowers the chances that problem behaviors will occur because their needs for stimulation and interest are being met. Lastly, restraint is a more restrictive measure, used only when absolutely necessary to ensure safety. It's crucial that any use of restraint follows strict ethical guidelines to protect the individual's well-being. Each of these interventions plays an important role in proactively managing behavior in a respectful and effective way.